we don't stop, many things we don't lose. It in the be like highway.
That we cannot sustain this, which is a really bad miscalculation for the IRGC in Iran. You see, there's no shortage of American will here. We remember and honor our fallen, those 6 that we will soon welcome at Dover, who gave everything for their country in this mission. We remember them. But we remember them by rededicating ourselves even more fervently to this mission. Our commitment to our mission objectives only increases as our advantages continue to increase. We've got no shortage of munitions. Our stockpiles of defensive and offensive weapons allow us to sustain this campaign as long as we need to. Again, our munition status only increases as our advantage increases. Our capabilities, we have only just begun to fight and fight decisively. Having a chance to hear from Admiral Cooper. If you think you've seen something, just wait. The amount of combat power that's still flowing, that's still coming, that we'll be able to project over Iran is a multiples of what it currently is right now when you add up our capabilities and those of the Israeli Defense Forces.
A U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade, the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Jabari Media. I am your host, Jamar Jabari, and we have a very packed conversation for you guys today. As if you're not living under a rock, which, you know, a lot of people are in America, but you can't be living under a rock so far enough to not see this coming and see this going on, which is one thing I want to talk about. You know, today we're going to drop the T. We are going to drop the T today. This is why I have my tea. Because, we have some tea today. First of all, I want to address the misconceptions of analysts who are very reactionary to what is going on by no fault. I understand. We stand with Gaza. We stand with the West Bank. By the way, if you're not able to, you know, protest, march, there are a lot of different ways you can help out. And one way that you can help out, ladies and gentlemen, is by going to IG and going to PAL Crisis Relief. PAL Crisis Relief is a organization that is ran by medical volunteer students who have served over 100,000, probably even more by now. We've been talking about this for about 3 years. In Rafah Crossing, Rafah City, whatever left is of Rafah, we know that's a lot of tent cities, but they are helping people get goods like beds, air mattresses, whatever you need to survive in this harsh conditions, in this very, very harsh conditions from what I'm seeing off the videos. So this organization, my platform, we will continue to keep talking about them, and we are proud to be supporting them and doing everything that we can to make sure that everybody knows about PAL Crisis Relief. So please go and donate. Please go and donate. And now back with the show. Now, we know that Israel, for the last 40 years under Netanyahu, crying like a child, 24/7, crying like a child, guys. Iran's going to have a missile, a nuclear warhead, very soon. For 41 years. I hope my voice is deep enough because I can sound like this motherfucker. Iran is going to attack, and you're going to have a nuclear missile very soon. We must prepare. We must prevent them from being able to have a nuclear missile. You know what I mean? He's been saying this for nonstop, and I understand why people want to connect that with Israel calling the shots in the Middle East. But when it comes to Iran, we have always wanted to control Iran. We did this in the 1940s after Musada, who was friendly to the USSR, naturalized oil. He was democratically elected. And here's the part that they conveniently in the mainstream media do not want to talk about. It's the best part of the whole history. After we toppled that government with the CIA, you know what I mean? What did we do? What did we do? We put in the Shah. And what did the Shah do? The same thing that Sigmund Reed did when we installed him in South Korea after dividing the Korean line between North Korea and South Korea. The same thing that we are seeing al-Shara, whoever he want to call himself now. We know him as Muhammad al-Jalani, who is a part of ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and now they have this new organization called HTS, and he is the sitting president of Syria after getting rid of Assad. And you know what? No love lost, whatever. But here we are again. A brutal dictator was installed, the Shah, after Musada was ousted. And when you look at what they said about Musada, the propaganda, it is very similar to what they are saying about the Islamic Revolutionary Forces, who came into power in 1979 because the Shah was so brutal. And they know that these kids today do not remember how brutal the Shah was. But they're going to remember how brutal the American and Israelis are because they are carpet bombing these neighborhoods. What I'm saying here is that the U.S. uses Israel as their largest military base in the Middle East, probably the world, because it's a country. Israel is at the behest of American empire. What Israel's interest is, of course, they want to expand. Okay, that's Israel's interest. But the reason why we prop them is because they are our attack dogs. Well, I want to say our because I'm not with this. I'm American, but clearly I'm not with this. The whole concept of Israel existing at this point, after the British gave up on Israel, we use them to incite our might, incite our will in the Middle East to keep all the Gulf states, the monarchies that we also control, in power. And to make sure the motherfuckers that dare not do what we say, like Lebanon, Iran, Yemen, Israel's job is to put their foot on their necks, as you have seen. We went to a war without Israel with Iran in the 80s when we had Saddam Hussein do this. I don't understand why people, I get it. Israel is right now in the news the most violent pariah state, which they are, in the world. So, we have a capitalist country here where donors are backed by AIPAC. You know what I mean? AIPAC is paying all these politicians so they can have their interests in mind. We get it. But there is also the tobacco company that also have done this in the past. You know what I mean? There's so many lobbyist groups that have done horrible things to hide what is happening. AIPAC is just one of them. AIPAC isn't the, like Cenk Uygur say, the all powerful Israel that controls the U.S. Get Israel out of my country. I see it very problematic when people try to just say that the problem is only Israel when it comes to America. The problem is that America is an empire and they act like an empire. It's not Israel that is starving Cuba right now. It's not Israel that is exploiting Puerto Rico. Damn straight wasn't Israel that did that shit in Venezuela. It's not Israel that is literally attacking everyone they see fit. We attacked Ecuador. You know, Israel's staying in the Middle East doing bullshit and conducting a genocide off of our tax dollars and our weapons that we send to them. Israel is a client pariah state, and we are the rogue pariah state that controls everything. And I think, you know, just like how people correlate Hitler as being the most evilest of all, which he was a pretty evil motherfucker, and then they forget about the other genocides that have been conducted by very evil motherfuckers, like King Leopold, for instance, in the Congo, who killed way more people than Hitler did. And then talk about the Armenian genocide, which it took America forever to even acknowledge that. What about what France did to Algeria? 15 million people, some accounts 30 million people. The list goes on the bloodshed. You know, and Hitler is just someone who learned from us. He read up about the Civil War. He read about the Jim Crow. He read about the Reconstruction era. He read up about slavery. He read up about Manifest Destiny. And he used what we did, well, you know, how they oppressed our people in America. And this was a foundational opportunity for him to learn how he could do the same thing in Germany. And that is what I need people to understand before we continue this show. That you are not seeing a playbook that was mapped out by some atheist Zionists. No, you're seeing a playbook that was mapped out by the empire itself. And these atheist Zionists are a client state that benefits from the actual empire, which is why they can do what they can. If America did not exist and Israel did exist and is doing what they're doing right now, the world will have a better response to deal and to stop them. But because America exists, the ICC can't go after Bibi Netanyahu like they want to. You get what I'm saying? There is levels to this shit. And yes, we need to go after Israel as hard as we can, but we need to also acknowledge who is the real players behind why Israel can do what they can and why Israel can continue to kill children when we attack other countries that do so. Just think about it. Just think about it. But Israel's getting there. Israel's learning the hard way. I mean, look. I for one don't feel that. What do you want me to do? This is what they have done to Gaza. Gaza's a parking lot. And, you know, these weapons capabilities. Here's another one. Let me get you another one. Put it on. You're going to hear sirens. I'm going to mute the sirens. You're not going to hear sirens, actually. I'm going to mute the sirens. But, yeah, look at that. There is a policy where they're not allowed to show what's going on really in Tel Aviv, but Tel Aviv's burning. Tel Aviv's getting it destroyed. After the 12-day war, especially, I think they did not learn from the 12-day war. You know what I mean? Because this happened to them, and now it's worse. Look at this. These are cluster bombs. The Iranians are shooting bombs that are breaking into mini bombs. Shooting missiles that are breaking into mini missiles. It's really insane. Kind of loud. Let me lower it for you. Yeah. So the narrative that Israel's not paying for what they are dishing out, they are paying for what they're dishing out. But the issue is that, America wants to balkanize Iran. They have always wanted to balkanize Iran. This is why they are so gun-ho in the Trump administration to do this, because this has always been a part of the plan. Okay? So yes, Israel wants war with Iran as well too. That is also true. Yes, Bibi Netanyahu wants a war with Iran for 40-something years. I mean, didn't he make a speech? After 40-something years, we are finally at war with Iran. He said something like that. I paraphrase. Yes, two things can be true. Israel wants this, but Israel does not control this. America controls this. America wants this. Now, how they go about it is different, because the Democrats have one plan and the Republicans have another. And then Trump has another. Oh, this shit is so cynical. But this is what I want to get across for people to understand. I had a guess where there's going to be a reschedule, so we're going to keep talking about this. But I think it's very, very important that people understand this. I want to show you just how barbaric. I wrote an article on my Substack about the girls who were bombed, and also updates. The girls in Iran, when the U.S. and Israel launched their attacks, let's talk about what happened before, and then we'll get to the girls. When the U.S. launched their attack, which is now we're 6 days into a barbaric war, where I have already showed you footage of Tel Aviv being on fire, Tehran, even though they have also deflection systems, there are still bombing campaigns going on. The carpet bombing of neighborhoods in Iran is very, very sad. And the only reason why they are doing this type of shit is because they can't get to the actual weapons. They can't get to the actual weapons. They can't get to the actual missiles. They're saying they are in Iran because they want to stop the ballistic weapons program. Apparently, the nuclear program is back, even though they told us that they destroyed it. Everybody has a different story when you ask somebody around a part of the Trump administration. Everybody has a different meaning. It's a different interpretation. Hey, I wrote this article. Is the U.S. stuck in a long war with Iran? Yes, they are. Because since they can't stop the military, and they have killed Khomeini, who was the Ayatollah, I think he was the newly Ayatollah, because the other Ayatollah was killed in a helicopter crash, allegedly. I'm pretty sure Israel was a part of that, but Iran was very, very nice to y'all. They sat down and they talked the first time, and then you did a preemptive strike on the 12-day war. A preemptive strike on the 12-day war. And then we did a ceasefire because Israel wanted a ceasefire. Israel was getting their asses handed to them in Tel Aviv. So Israel wanted a ceasefire. Trump wanted to swing his dick a little bit. So what he decided to do, he went and got some bunker busters and claimed that he ended the nuclear program in Iran as it exists today. But here we are again, right? After having a man from Oman, official, begging the Trump administration not to go in. Everybody thought that these talks were going perfectly well. The foreign minister, I can't think of his name right now, from Iran, who was on the news outlet that I just showed you in the beginning of this episode, he himself said that they spoke with Kushner. They spoke with U.S. officials, and they were very happy after having a long 7-hour negotiation. Everybody thought shit was good. But then here we go. America and Israel, which today America actually acknowledged that they were a part of this. America bombs a school which was apparently adjacent from the property of an Iranian military base. They killed over 165 girls. Now, I saw Piers Morgan. I looked at the media and I'm disgusted by what I saw because, you know, he gets these IDF bitch ass motherfuckers on. I'm just going to be blunt about how I think they are. He get these bitch ass Zionists on that sit here and say the most darnest things. Oh, well, there's 3 scenarios. Maybe the Iranians shot by accident, friendly fire. It could have been an Israeli, but we could have miscalculated it. It could have been America. How many children in Gaza have y'all have killed so far? And you expect me to believe that you don't want to target children in Iran? Dismiss me with your bullshit, my nigga. Oh, not supposed to say that word. But this is what I'm saying. They are literally deliberately lying to you. Here's another lie. They sank a submarine that was a part of a training with India. Had no weapons on it. No weapons. Look at that. Look at that. These men are committing war crimes after war crimes. And again, like I said earlier, if America did not exist, nor if America, let's say America didn't have the clout that they have right now, the ICJ will be able to grab them just like they were able to grab all these African leaders that have committed war crimes. Just like how now the former leader in the Philippines is now being prosecuted. You know, these people are getting prosecuted, but not the white folks that are in line with America. I'm just going to be blunt with what I'm saying right now. Every leader in Hamas that had an ICC warrant is dead. Y'all know that, right? And what are they still doing to Gaza? Because it was never about Hamas. So to begin with, they just needed a reason to start shit. It's all about the Greater Israel Project. Homegirl Rhonda Khaled. Let's get that interview up real quick. Rhonda Khaled interviewed one of the foreign ministers on Breakthrough News. Before that, she also mentioned about how in Lebanon and Beirut, shouts out to Lebanon, shouts out to Beirut, how I believe it's southern Lebanon, over 400,000 in the suburbs, over 400,000 people are now displaced. They are forced to evacuate. Hezbollah's back in the fight, thank God. Yemen's back in the fight, thank God. The Red Sea is being closed, thank God. The Strait of Hormuz, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is also allowing certain ships to go through. Donald Trump said he's going to reopen it up. I like to see you try. Bro, y'all got so excited over shooting. Hold up. Excited over shooting a unarmed submarine. Do me a favor and take 100 seats back. I don't believe them saying that they destroyed the Navy. If that's the only ship that they destroyed, and they're saying that's the Navy, unarmed submarine, and rest in peace to those people. I mean, who believes this nonsense? Who believes this nonsense that they keep spewing, guys? Do any of y'all believe this nonsense that they keep giving out? They said that they toppled the entire Iranian government, and now you see all new officials. They have the president and 2 other expert councils members a part of it. I believe it's the son of Khomeini as well too, who might be the next Ayatollah. They have not acknowledged who the next Ayatollah is, but the government is still functioning, and everybody a part of the military are not together. They're separate, making commands and doing what they know to get done. These guys have been planning this for decades, just like Israel has been planning this for decades. You know what I mean? Their hypersonic missiles cannot be stopped by the Iron Dome at all. And they have other type of shit they have not come out and shown to the world yet, which scares the hell out of me. But hey, look, isn't this what Donald Trump said when they asked him about the American soldiers? It is what it is. It is what it is, folks. So let's check out this interview real quick.
Military target. They evacuated some hotels and they have given those hotels to U.S. military full of American soldiers.
So basically, what he's talking about is that, I don't know if people saw online. I have shown many videos of the conflict of what's going on, but the U.S. they can't put their American troops in the bases. They cannot put their American troops in the bases simply because Iran's attacking all their bases. Iran hit 14 countries within like 2 days. It's insane. I have never seen this type of operation done ever in my entire life, especially American bases, especially American properties. So U.S. soldiers are being put into hotels. They're pinging their phones with similar technology that Obama used when he was targeting who he deemed as terrorists to assassinate overseas in Africa, and, Sudan kids. Thanks, Obama. You killed Sudanese teenagers. Congratulations, you protected the world. They're using that similar type of technology to find these people, to find the American soldiers, and they are hitting the hotels where they are at. So let's listen on more of what's going on here.
So they are hit. CIA headquarters in these countries are legitimate military targets. They're in office areas. They're not in U.S. bases. Why CIA is legitimate? Because they provide the data when U.S. military is attacking Iran. They provide the intelligence. They are legitimate military targets. And then you have debris, unintended hits. Iran is hitting U.S. targets in this region, and then some of these countries, when they see an Iranian missile, they try to hit it, and sometimes they are successful. That creates debris. Iran cannot control the debris. It falls. I think it was CNN or Al Jazeera reporting in UAE, and oil facility was hit by debris, which Iran is not responsible for that. Iran is not responsible for any of these things that are happening because Iran did not start this war. This is a war of choice by U.S. and Israel, and they shouldn't have started. So the best thing, if they want to avoid debris that fall in unintended locations, maybe they should stop hitting Iranian missiles. Let them reach.
I'm pretty sure he's being sarcastic about that. Look, they are at war, so he can drop as many jokes he want to drop about us because we are sons of bitches. I am not happy at all what's going on. And I'm also seeing that there are false flags, which is, they also mentioned in this interview as well too. Mossad has been around doing scrupulous things. They were behind the protests that were going on in Iran, where Donald Trump's administration claims that 30,000 people was killed. Well, we actually see the research, and the research does not add up with what the Western narrative is saying. The Western narrative is saying 30,000 people, but there is actually evidence and death certificates and licenses that were taken of the bodies of these people, and it says 2,117 people were murdered during these protests, and 200 of those people were police officers. So the issue is that they are trying to heighten up this, and thousands of people dying, 2,000 people alone dying is fucking horrible. But we know that Mossad was a part of those crowds, and they were picking people off. They were shooting back at the Iranian government themselves. We all know this. How do we know this? Because Lizzie Graham made a tweet about it, confirming about it. Mossad themselves gloated on Twitter which is now called X for some damn reason, on Twitter gloating that Mossad is involved. So listen, I'm just telling you exactly what the research shows. We can go here like Roland Martin and all that and just believe everything that comes out the mouths of the West as being actual truth. They are saying lies. They cannot be trusted. They can't be trusted. You know what I mean? This is wartime. This is wartime propaganda. You know what I mean? And I should have known that they were going to go in when you see this idiot orange guy saying help is on the way. And then he now, wow, after they just bombed kids, the orange guy wants to say, oh, go out into the streets, claim your government. Mr. President, how are they supposed to go out in the street and claim their government when you're carpet bombing? Carpet bombing neighborhoods. Explain that to me. These people believe their own propaganda. They live in their own world. They believe their own lies. And it's fucking ridiculous, quite frankly. Excuse my French, but I don't know how anyone could look at all this shit that's going on and still think that the United States government, I mean, at this point, if you still believe that this country is a force of good, stop talking to those people. Stop trying to convince those people otherwise, because they just will never ever get it. They are bought by the empire. Bought by the empire. Let's listen to a few more of what he has to say.
The destination that they have. This is a serious business. These countries are, they watched the genocide in Gaza for 2 years, didn't do much. Just don't do much. Just watch. The same way you watch the genocide in Gaza, just watch. We don't expect them to be fighting American and Israelis, but we expect them to understand what's going on. Just watching, just continue watching like you did in Gaza.
And I just wanted to ask, in terms of like oil and gas installations, is that I actually don't know. I just know that there's been hits on them. Is that considered a part of, like, as far as you see from the way it's being reported in Iran, are those considered a part of those targets, or is that also like a debris situation? I know also there was a couple airports, I think like maybe Kuwait and Dubai, that had some damage to them. I teach at University of Tehran. Yeah. So I'm not. I don't have any special sort of data, but what I understand is that Iran wants to keep good relations with its neighbors. Netanyahu managed to fool Trump, and he's using American soldiers to fight his war against Iran. Netanyahu is interested in using Kuwaiti and Saudi and UAE soldiers against Iran. And hopefully they're not as foolish as Trump is. So Iran does not want to have difficult relations with these countries. Iran has, with Oman, Qatar, relations have been good. They have been.
I believe that. And you know why I believe that? Because that is what I have been seeing so far. Before all this went down, and mind you, when you look at what Iran actually hits, its American properties, they're basically evicting America out of this. They're basically evicting America out of the Middle East. America is going to have a hard time trying to rebuild these properties, because I don't see all 14 of these Gulf states saying, "Oh, yeah, we'll give you the permit to rebuild." I think a lot of them are going to be like, wait, hold up. You guys kind of compromised us. And I don't know if we should be dealing with you on this level anymore, because you guys really screwed the pooch here. You got these motherfuckers hitting us with everything they got. We got the whole citizens, or what they call them, peasants, because honestly, these are monarchies. They're cheering on. I don't know if people will see that. They're cheering on, which I'm like, yeah, they're cheering on these bases getting hit. They're cheering on There's hotels getting hit because they're tired of their government as well too. As much as they want to talk about how much Iranians are celebrating, which is crazy at this point, because who is celebrating being carpet bombed? They don't want to say nothing about the Egyptians, how they are celebrating. They don't want to say nothing about how people in Qatar are celebrating. Why? Because they are under oppressive regimes that we back, which is so funny. You know, we back a third of the dictatorships of the world, and we got the nerve to be calling other people dictators. Isn't that hilarious? So will we see an Arab Spring coming out of this? Probably, because we know for a fact that these militaries aren't well equipped or have the desire to continue this war with the United States. We just got reports that Qatar, UAE, Spain, can't put the UK on the list because the UK is wishy-washy. Keir Starmer, choose a side. Choose a side. I hate a neutral hoe. Stand for something, hoe. Like, you a hoe of America, choose a side. You want to be a hoe for America, or do you not want to be a hoe for America? Yes, I'm being this blunt. But those other three countries I named, they're banning America from using their airspace. Why? Because it's getting crazy. When you have a country of 90 million people who warned you from the get-go that if America starts bombing us, we gonna start hitting your shit. And they were true to their promise. They started hitting their shit. Of course they're freaking out. Of course they're freaking out. And what is Saudi Arabia going to do? They can't even beat the Yemenis people. And the Yemenis people beat America in the Red Sea. Do y'all know what's going on around here? This is real. This is the collapse of an empire. Just like all the empires before. We are seeing it. And when I say collapse, I'm not saying that, oh, okay, Iran's going to come over here and take over America. No. We're just going to lose our influence and dominance around the world, just like the UK did in the Ottoman Empire before them. That's all that's going to happen from what I see. But what needs to happen while this is going on, this is when the socialist in me comes out. We need to focus on a revolution here. We need to start getting the power of working class people that's been exploited, and how we are suffering here from energy bills, from healthcare, from housing crisis. ICE out here acting the fuck up. The racists feel like they won. We got a lot of problems here that we need to focus on that they don't want you to focus on. You know, this Epstein class don't want you to focus on what's real, what's important. They want you to be afraid to say something. They want you to fear criticizing American empire, criticizing the Zionists, criticizing the Epstein class. Choose a side. And only one side has freedom. Just remember.
Blank period, yeah. On my black, brown, and indigenous. Gotta holler if you really feeling this. Gotta holler if you really real enough. Other rappers is delirious. Yeah, it's really that serious. Better holler if you really feeling me. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna